So we're going to look at, is this Athena then?
This is Athena, but I've also paired her with Precious World.
Right.
And if you can see, I kind of felt that with Precious World, although it's a tree which looks like a I mean, you can interpret it how you like. It's got a shell in it. Put it on its side, and it's got that sort of watery feel that goes so well with Athena. And we've used the Circles of Trust stencil in the background. She's got a little crab that goes with her, and she's got fish, and she's got the jellyfish and bubbles. So with all the little elements, you can make a complete scene.
Yeah.
But I'm going to show you how I achieved this.
Must be nice for you, because you said it was your daughter who designed those stencils.
My daughter did, yeah, the Circles of Trust, and she's just 4th year. It's her last year at uni doing illustration and graphics. She's 20, just coming up for 21. And Gabe Christensen, who did the other 2 stencils, I think is 19 and just started at art school. So they're very young, very talented people. Yes,
yeah.
You know, and
exciting.
And obviously they both want to be commercial artists in some fashion, and this is just a platform for them to make a start.
Yeah, why not?
So, right, we're going to start with Athena. Absolutely love this stamp. I think we've worked with Natasha quite a lot, and I have to say I think this is her best one ever.
And how do you come across these amazing artists?
Just
browsing online, getting in touch?
I spend my life browsing, looking and searching. I mean, the nice thing about the internet now is everything, people's art is so accessible to you. I mean,
and easy to get in touch, isn't it?
Yes. I mean, when I started, there was no such thing, and, you know, I had an agent who used to go around and find me commercial work. Now, just a click of a mouse and you're away.
It's very convenient, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm going to slightly adjust where she's going to put that out of the way a bit. I'm going to put her just slightly off centre. And the paper I'm working on here, if anybody watches this with pink ink, I always use Bockingford. I love Bockingford because I want to throw quite a bit of water at this, and I know that it will take it. It's very smooth.
It's very well known, isn't it?
It is well known. It's well made. It's British. It's not chalky. It doesn't pill. It's got all the plus points to it. So that's Athena.
Now
isn't she beautiful?
That's all we need to know, really, isn't it? That just. It's just on another level.
It is. I used black on the other one, but I think actually blue might be a little bit softer.
Is this how you test stamps when you first get them back? Do you have like a prototype? And I guess it's a first thing to do.
I always stamp them out. I stamp every piece on one A4 sheet, and I keep that sheet. So if ever I'm, working with it again, I can go back to that sheet and see what I've got.
I just think that it's the pose, it's the flowing of the hair, it's the movement, it's a very special piece.
What I want to do is I actually want to get some of the watery effects in, but not necessarily all of the shells.
Is this just a tile you're working on?
Yes, it's just a bathroom tile.
Fair play.
Yeah, I love it because it's big.
It does the job,
and it does exactly the job. I can do everything on it, stamp and mix paint and all sorts.
You've got a big work in there.
That's one side, and then I'm just going to flip it over and do the other side.
We're thinking we've stamped on the counter. No, it is onto a tile.
It is on my tile.
We don't cover desks here. We just get it all over the place. It's fine.
And then I'm just going to do
no, we don't.
A little bit here. And actually this time I might have a little bit of water.
I always worry, is it going to be too messy or overlapped? But no, it's very forgiving.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah,
I mean,
nice.
you can feel the water of that, and then of course you could extend it with pens and stuff if you wanted to. And what I feel about this artwork, Charlie, is actually it's art. It's art.
Yes.
And you're creating art rather than. I mean, obviously you could use this for a card,
of course,
and it'd be great as a card, but it's actually a piece of art.
It is. I think for your daughter's birthday would be an obvious one.
Oh, wouldn't it? And it's going to be a piece that you'd pop a frame on, I think. Well, I certainly would anyway.
Oh, definitely would. And journal covers and so on. I mean, look, when we looked into the studio, we're all a little bit quiet to start with because it's jaw-droppingly good. We're absolutely in awe of this artwork there. And that's why. And there's Athena. Fantastic names too.
Right, we've got this tiny, tiny little crab. And what I want to do is just have like a little border coming down the side. Now I've actually done, hopefully I can do it in this hour, I've made a card that's just the crab on its own, little tiny miniature. It's so cool.
It is.
On
I'm
its
normally
own.
quite scared of crabs actually, but
Oh,
that
are
is
you?
cute. Well, like spiders with armour.
Have you had a
But
bad experience?
But that is, I quite like this crab.
Have you had a bad experience?
Then they just freak me out, but just pinchy, But they're very cute. When you get nipped in the toe in a rock pool in Wales, you don't go back. Yeah, anyway.
So, you can see the compositions coming together here.
I see.
So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dry it off, and then we're going to add some colour. And now I'm using pink ink multi-surface paint, but of course you can use any of your Krafts colours.
If you search pink ink, you'll see all these paints right there.
Yes, I think we should have some on the website.
Well, this is multi-surface. What about fabric and so on?
Yes, yeah. Well, as most people know, we started off in fabric, and so.
I remember that.
Yeah,
a few years ago now, wasn't it?
Do you know what? You and I had. You were
Was
on
it
my
the first one?
first show at the very beginning in
It
first
comes
year.
behind.
Yeah, yeah, 7 years ago.
Was it?
Or was it 8 years? 7 or 8?
Was that 2015? Would it have been?
I don't know, but
2016.
7 years ago, Mel
It was
says.
7 years. Yeah, it would have been.
And I did my
Coach
screen
Andy days.
test with you.
Well, there we go. Well, we got through it together, didn't we?
I bet you can't remember that at all, can you?
I remember the early days, definitely. Yeah. I remember all the fabrics.
Yeah, so we started with fabrics, and hence the fabric paint. But basically, it is multi-surface. It goes on anything that's porous, and it's permanent, which is
I'm glad
great.
you passed that screen test,
So-
because look what you've achieved.
Oh, well.
Look, honestly, the amount of art you've shown us, Kathy, over the years, it's just, we really appreciate it.
Right, so I'm putting out, I think this is fuchsia, and I'm going to go for turquoise, my favourite turquoise wave.
Let's get
I
some turquoise.
absolutely love it. And of course, if you mix turquoise wave and pink together, you get slight purples. So I'm going to have a sort of three-way colour combination going on here. Now, what I do, quite often when I'm doing demonstrations, I paint the page first, then I do the stamping on the top of it, but I'm just going to try and do something a little bit different this time.
Okay.
So what I tend to do
That's
is...
water.
Yeah,
That's
it's water.
a fancy spritzer there, isn't it?
It is.
I thought it was Febreze, but...
There you go. So it's going to absorb, make the paper slightly damp, so that when I add the pigments, it's going to hopefully spread and bleed nice and softly. So I'm going to
This
start...
is why it's good to have quality cardstock.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you haven't got quality and you do this and you start popping your paints on, it starts to peel or soak in patches where it's chalky. Right, I start very dilute and then just add a bit more pigment. It's easier to do it that way than put too much on and then quickly try and add water to try and take it off. So just build up nice and slowly, and then we're going to introduce a little bit of pink.
I love about what's your new colour, Kathy. It's just, you just let it... Well, you apply it, obviously, with intent, but you let it land where it wants to land. The water makes you like it done even more.
I think sometimes when you try too hard, it can look a little bit contrived, and this is very soft.
Artificial, yeah.
Yeah. Now this colour here, it's called pastel pale peach. If you want to do skin tones, this is fantastic for skin. Now, obviously, this is light skin. If you want it darker, we've got another one called coffee. If you mix the two, just keep adding more and more coffee, that obviously makes it darker. But what I want to do with Athena, I don't want her to look like she's decapitated and she's just a head in the water. I want her to sort of... So I want the skin colour to sort of go behind.
Yeah, Halloween's been and gone.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, that can be a problem where you haven't got the image that is drawn in for you. You need to suggest that it is actually there.
I see.
So I'm going to then add the wave, and then with the pink. Do you limit yourself
to a certain amount of colour? What, 2 or 3?
Yeah, two, 3 probably max is all you need.
It's often, I always ask that, as regular viewers might know, but it's normally the answer 2, maybe 3. Never hear 4. There's no rules, of course.
No,
but
and it's your piece of artwork. You can do what you like with it, can't you? So I'm just going to finish off around the top here, and let's put some. Now I could wait for that to dry, but I'm just going to actually put a bit of turquoise on. I don't mind if it goes over the edges. I will probably redefine this later anyway with some colour, but let's just pop a little bit in. And if you find something's going, oh, I don't like it, I put too much in, get your spritz gun, spritz it and you know, move it around. Once it's dry, as I said, it's permanent on fabric, it's dry, you can't reconstitute it with water, so just let it do its thing. So I think I just want to put a little bit more pink, just a little bit on here.
It's just the hair is magnificent.
Yeah, it's the and the face, I mean the eyes, everything about it is just so beautiful. We'll put in these...
It's just absolute serenity, the whole look and feel of it all. Apparently, people have been emailing in, there's a seahorse in there somewhere.
There is. Here, look.
Yes! Sarah emailed us in saying, that's Sarah, well spotted, thank you. I mean, obviously I spot it a mile away now, but now, yeah.
Okay.
Great idea.
So that's going to be my background.
I wonder.
Well, there's loads of bubbles in her hair. I mean, you could really go to town with glossy accents and that sort of thing if you wanted to.
You could. Well, where are we up to then with this?
Right, well, I've done the background. It's all dried off. And I will do some more painting if I've got time, but I want to show this stencil. Now, this stencil, let me just show it against black.
Well, we've got just under 20 minutes left.
We've got loads of time.
Just a heads up.
Look how fine. Look how fine some of these lines are. But it's so contemporary and modern. But it goes brilliant, as Mel said, with something watery. Sort of, it's got that aqua kind of feel to it. But I've used this over and over and over on all sorts of different applications.
I can just imagine Leonie loving that one. I don't know
yes,
what it is. I can imagine.
And also what I like about it is it's got like a straight edge. And then it's got an open edge as well, and I love that. So if you want to sort of come off, it's great. So I want to use
a harsh edge. As such.
I want to have a bit of pink going here. I'm using distress oxides and a bit of the turquoise here. So we'll start with the pink, and of course it's sort of non-directional. So you know you don't have to sort of have it square on or anything. And I've got to try not to be too heavy-handed, which is my normal trick. I want to keep it quite sort of subtle. Yeah.
Sometimes less is more.
Yeah, exactly.
So easy to overdo. You don't think there's much on there until you remove it.
Exactly. That's why I always just keep peeping, just to check. So now we're going to go on with peacock feathers.
It's one of my favourite designs on the show, actually. Fairy of the Night.
Oh, I love her, I think. And the artist, Meredith, she's so, so talented.
Where's Meredith based?
She's based in... She's not Las Vegas. She's in America. I can't remember exactly whereabouts.
It begins with an M. It's either Minnesota or somewhere.
So maybe Minnesota, perhaps. Yeah, I see.
Let's just
nice.
a little bit up this edge.
So you're from all over the place, then, you're celebrating these artists.
Yeah, we do.
I like it.
I mean, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Just sort of brings it all in together.
So your thought process here is what, balance? Is that what you're going for?
Yeah, texture actually. Yeah, texture. I want her to kind of. I'm trying to make her look like she's sort of sitting in the water with all this texture going on behind. So, but this I would then spritz that and then push that onto another piece, and that potentially could be a background. So you know, don't waste anything. And then my next stage is actually I want to go in and pick out some detail. And we've got lovely detail in all the leaves, the crab. So with a mixture of the pink and the teal again, I was just going to do teal, but actually I think some stronger pink might be really, really pretty. And of course I want to showcase this seahorse as well. So with a really fine brush I can go in, and this is where I'm using the multi-surface with less water, so it's a bit neater, and then we can go in and get some detail going on.
I mean, that could be finished now, couldn't it?
Well, you could. I mean, it could be. You could put a frame on. I like to just keep going and keep going, but not overdo it. You have to kind of do know when to stop. And I want to sort of blend this pink in.
I keep drawing back to that main image thing. It is so impressive. It's the pose, it's the whole design, but it's the intricacy. Every single strand of hair there.
I think it's also her facial expressions. Natasha is super at doing faces and people. Actually, that's really her area of expertise.
Well,
and you can feel the meaning and the thought behind.
It's very restful, very calming, I find. And the lady, the pose, absolutely at peace, just completely content there.
Can you see how I'm actually just blending this pink over top of the teal and then just feathering it out with a bit of water, and that just now corresponds with all the colour combination that's going on over this side. So we'll just do it all the way up. Do this a bit more quickly because you've seen that part. Bit more water. And then I'm going to add some depth into these bubbles. And I don't actually have glossy accents. It's something I keep meaning to get, but this is where I would put it if I had some.
I just keep imagining flecks of gold on there sometimes.
Yeah, oh gosh, yes, absolutely. And we've got some fantastic gold. In fact, I could put some on. Gold mica. Which we call Stardust, pink ink Stardust
just
powders.
Subtle dusting.
And just mix it with water. It is like real gold on there. It's fantastic, yeah.
I don't think I've seen that properly.
I think I've got some with me. So right, so we're going to put a little bit of pink on this seahorse so he stands out. Of course, you know, if you don't want him there, just put some colour, or we've got little fish you can put over the top. Now, what I want to do is I want to get a bit of, I don't know if the camera can actually see the peach colour on her face, so I'm just going to add a little bit of the coffee to some peach, and then put some lights and darks in her face to get a bit more dimension. So a little bit of coffee, a little bit of pale peach, join the two together just really slowly, and then you can always build up the darks, and we'll put some darks in here.
And these are your multi-surface paints?
Yeah.
The pink ink?
Yeah, and then this will give her some form.
I mean, straight away, what a difference there.
You know, so if you're wanting to do different coloured skins, you can choose. You can make her what nationality you want to make her.
Of course. Just separates the face, doesn't it?
Doesn't it?
It is. It is a stunning stamp, isn't it? The more you look at it, the more you fall in love with it. It's just such a sense of calm there too.
So just define this ear a little bit. But can you see she looks like she's part of the water. She doesn't look like she's just her head floating. It looks like she's actually behind. So we can actually put a bit of colour down here as well, suggest that she's coming up from behind this. Right, and then also what I want to do is this is where you could really go to town with these really, really pretty little leaves here.
People can see octopuses in that hair as well.
Can they?
Apparently. Sarah thinks there might be an octopus there. I like it, Sarah.
But that's what's so nice about art, isn't it? Art is, you know, you can make it what you want it.
Of course, it could be subjective, can't it?
Yeah, absolutely it can.
And how would you display this now, you think? Put it in a frame?
Well, I would matte and layer it, so I should put it, you know, on the other one I've done it on black, but you could put it on a lovely teal colour, and then I'd put it in put it in a frame. I mean, it'd be great in a journal, wouldn't it? And then, so I'm bringing this pink over to this side, and that then connects the whole of the colour scheme together.
It's just a celebration about the art, this show, isn't it? From artists from all over the world. It deserves the time, and it doesn't need anything else. It's just let it speak for itself.
Right, OK, this is our Stardust powders.
Oh, is this it?
This is it. So what you need to do is, it makes the most fantastic paint. You need hardly any. In fact, most of the time I actually do use my lid as my palette, because actually you can reconstitute it as well, so you may as well. But this is just so you can all see. So all I do is just add water to it.
Do you put it in pastes as well?
You can, oh gosh, yeah, it's fantastic in, if you've got resin, you can put it in resin, you can attach, if you do, if you stamp and immediately cover it with the Stardust powders, it sticks to it, and then you can just dry it off, and it's then got like a gold. I mean, look how gold that is.
Absolutely, it's dancing with sparkle. Dancing with sparkle.
So,
great camera work, Chris, as well. That was fantastic. Shout out to our director.
Can you see how gold it is on camera?
He's a good egg.
So, just adding this like this.
it does have just that little bit of fizz, doesn't it? That little bit of magic.
Yeah, and let's do, look, there's a little moon here. A little bit of infill.
Mm-hmm. We've got different colours as well. The gold, that's a real traditional warming gold.
Yeah, we've got loads of colours, but you know, if you're going to choose one over another, go for the metallics. The silver, the copper, and the gold are the ones I use the most.
Anything metallic, I'm always fascinated by.
It
creates an illusion, doesn't it? It's like no other.
So I'll do that. So then you would obviously carry on and do a whole lot more of it. I quite often do this. I like to sort of frame things in. I know you can do that with matte and layering, and you could obviously still matte and layer it, but I love a drawn, especially a hand drawn. In a way, it's sometimes better not to use a ruler. I'm just sort of doing it by eye. I'm trying to keep it this equidistance from the edge of the paper.
And if you have a wobble, do another wobble.
You do another wobble, or just, you know, it doesn't matter if you've got a wobble. You know, it's handmade, it's hand drawn, it's not going to be straight. And then, as I did with the other one, I want to put a line down here. Now, this one, if you're worried, then obviously you could do well, not even a ruler, but just plot some lines so that you know you're not going to go.
And do you look where you're going, or do you follow where the tip of the pen is? Because some people say, look at the finish line.
Gosh, there's a question.
So says our producer.
I'm not looking at the pen.
You can draw a stunning straight line.
No, I'm sort of. It's a bit like people say, what do you look at when you're driving? You look at all of it, don't you?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I think that's what I'm doing. I've never been asked that before.
Well, our producer's going to do a live demonstration later, actually.
Really?
Oh, no, she's not, actually. She says absolutely not.
Right, so my next stage is we've got here... now, I could have put these in before, but I wanted to just get to this stage, to step back, look, and think, right, do I need to add any more? So I'm going to put in a grey, because I don't want it... There's quite a lot of dark going on here. So I'm putting in some bubbles. I'll put them up here, and then I'm trying to sort of think about my composition going down like this. So, and then
in terms of where the eye is going to go.
Yes, yeah. With composition, you normally start somewhere, and your eye should be led. So a bit like doing garden design, you start with, say, a gate, and your eye's drawn through the gate, and it's the same with composition of artwork.
So where do you think the eye's going to start then?
Well,
with this composition?
I think it kind of starts at the bottom and goes round. And this one I've done in my journal. You know, it starts and goes off, and that's why you don't want to fill. You need to have blank spaces.
You do,
so, because otherwise it gets too busy and you can't see for looking. But look at that beautiful jellyfish, isn't it gorgeous? Yeah. And then we've also got a stamp for the sentiment, which I always go straight on. If I make a mistake or it doesn't stamp properly or it's wibble wobble, I just do another one, cut it out and just stick it over the top like it was meant to be. So let's have a go and see.
Well, it's been a brilliant show. We've got about a minute left, actually. It's been brilliant. And thanks very much to Kathy, and thanks to Mel as well. It's been fantastic with both of you.
Thank you, Charlie.
You know. And we're at the final stages of this now, aren't we?
Lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there we are, pretty well finished.
I mean, that is just... Yeah. Well,
and then the gold, I don't know if you can look at the gold.
The gold just adds that flair, doesn't it? That extra bit of magic.